Hello, welcome back. So as requested, today I'm going to show you how to make my Bolognese sauce, which is a meat-based sauce. I use pancetta and ground beef in mine. You could also use ground pork or a mixture of ground beef and ground pork, whatever you're into. Oh, and look who we have. It's my sous chef Gomez. Really, bro? I mean, it's redonkulous. He's very naughty. Usually it's served over something like a tagliatelle noodle, which is a little thicker, so it kind of absorbs all that sauce. If all you have is spaghetti in the house, that's totally fine too. Today, I'm actually gonna serve it over some roasted spaghetti squash. Now, don't feel intimidated if you've never worked with it before. I'm gonna show you how to make it. It's very simple. You just roast it in the oven. I'm just trying to cut back a little bit. Watch what I put into my body. Any hoodle, that's off topic. So, without further ado, let's get started. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. If there's something you'd like to see, please leave a comment of what you'd like me to show you. Ingredients for this sauce are pretty straightforward. Celery, carrots, and onion. A little bit of garlic, not a ton for this. Some red cooking wine. Tomato paste. Italian seasoning, a pinch of sugar, and a can of diced tomatoes and tomato puree. Then you'll need a little bit of stock. I'm going to use chicken stock. Beef stock would be good here too. And then some milk or half and half. Now onto the meats that we'll use. I'm going to use a combination of lean ground beef and the more fatty with the 15% fat. And then I'm going to use some uncured pancetta. Last but not least, either your pasta or your spaghetti squash. They're a little lopsided. Heyo! So if you've decided you'd like to use the spaghetti squash, we'll get that going. I have my oven heated to 400 degrees and I have a sheet pan lined with foil. The safest way to get into this behemoth, put it on the side, take the stem, so go in at the side, turn it as you saw the top off. That way we can put it on an end so it's not rolling around when we try to cut it. Safety first. Now we can go in from the side, go straight down. Takes a little bit of muscle. All right, you can do it. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll come down the other side with a sawing motion. We want to take out the seeds and the stringy part. It looks a little bit like a pumpkin. It's all scraped out. It'll look like that. Now we have our spaghetti squash cut open. You got your arm workout for the day. Go ahead and give them shits a little drizz of olive oil. And then we'll season them up with some salt and pepper. I'm also going to give them a little bit of garlic powder. And we'll pop those in the 400-degree oven for 45 minutes. So, this isn't really something you want to make if you're really hungry, like you just got home from work and you're hangry AF. Probably not the item to make. This is more of like a weekend affair. You know what I'm saying? So, now it's time to get the sauce started. I'm going to use my big boy today because I'm making a 2x batch. And who doesn't want extra sauce? So we can go ahead and start with our onions. One of my little pro tips for really getting a great flavor on the Bolognese is to let the onions caramelize. I'm gonna put a good amount of olive oil in there. Look at this bad boy. Really going for it. Put those in. We'll start them over like medium heat and then eventually we'll turn it down. We're gonna let them caramelize low and slow. Low and slow, that is the tempo. Anybody else a Beastie Boys fan? No? At this point, the onions have been cooking for about 15 minutes on medium heat. I'm now going to turn it down to low and hit it with a little salt and pep. So now we have this nice, deep, dark caramelization going on with the onions. Go ahead and add the pancetta. Pancetta has been rendering for about another 10 minutes. Now we can add in some tomato paste. We want to toast that just a little bit to bring out the flavor as well. We can add in the celery and carrots. You want everything very finely diced for this sauce, so I actually take my celery and carrots and just toss them into the food processor and give it a quick buzz. Easy peasy. Add in your garlic and some red wine. Once almost all of the red wine has cooked out, you can start adding your beef. Go ahead and start mixing everything together. Add in your oregano or dried Italian seasoning, a pinch of salt, some pepper, and a pinch of sugar. I know it might sound weird, but it's going to balance out the tomato acidity. It's been cooking for about 7 or 8 minutes now. We can add in our tomatoes and enough stock just to cover the meat. Pop the top on and let it cook. Spaghetti squash is looking good. It was in the oven for 45 minutes and it's nice and tender. Just let that come to room temperature before we pull the goodies out of there. Gotta give it a taste.